Hi there, this is Shell. Welcome back to Get Lit English. I'm here today to teach you how to use sentences for effect. That's right, I want to teach you a little bit of a writing trick and tool of how to make your writing much more interesting. But I'm not only going to be teaching you writing skills, we're going to be focusing on listening skills, reading skills. We're going to learn some vocabulary and learn a little bit about figurative language. Now make sure you pay close attention because you will have 2 quizzes during this video. All right, are you ready? Close your eyes, hone in on those listening skills, and listen to me as I read. The water is only feet away now. I stand frozen on the beach, praying that the ocean will merely tickle my toes with its cooling surf. But it does not. A huge roaring sea tiger devours me in one ravenous bite, lifts me off my feet, and tosses me like a rag doll toward the hotel. I can't see. I can't breathe. This is it. I am going to die. Now let's take a quick quiz to see what you were able to understand just from listening. Setting is where a story takes place. This story setting is at A, a toy store, B, a beach, C, a city. If you answered B, a beach, give yourself a big clap. Well done. On to the next question. A narrator is the person who is telling a story. This story's narrator feels A, happy, B, relaxed, C, afraid. If you answered afraid, then you are absolutely correct. Very good. Give yourself a big clap, everybody. Well done. In the setting of this story, it was taking place during a tsunami. Can you say that with me? Tsunami. Even though there's a T there, we do not pronounce the T sound. The T is silent. Say it with me. Tsunami. What is a tsunami? Well, a tsunami is a really large wave that's on the ocean, and this is usually caused by an earthquake or volcanic eruption or some kind of coastal landslide. And a tsunami can travel hundreds of miles over the open sea and causes major damage when it encounters land. A tsunami is a large wave on the ocean. It's usually caused by an undersea earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or a coastal landslide. A tsunami can travel hundreds of miles over the open sea and cause extensive damage when it encounters land. Imagine that you are on a holiday when you see a huge tsunami heading towards you. What might you be thinking or feeling? As a writer, how do we show fear without simply just using words? Did you know that we can do this? We can create an atmosphere of fear with sentence length. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about short versus long sentences. But first, before we do a reading exercise together, let's learn some vocabulary. The first word that we're going to look at is the word merely. Merely. Can you say it with me? Merely. Merely is an adverb, and it's used to emphasize that you mean exactly what you're saying and nothing more. For example, I wasn't complaining, I merely said that I was tired. Or, I didn't say that you had to go, I merely suggested that you might want to go. If you notice, I have highlighted some phrases in red. These are the ways that merely usually collocates with other words. You can say merely said, merely suggested, merely stated. All of these are very commonly used together with the word merely. The next word is devours. Devours. This is a very strong verb that we use to describe when you want to eat something eagerly in a very large amount so that nothing's left. Um, like a very hungry man might devour an entire pizza by himself. We can look at a sentence example. The boy devoured a whole plate of pancakes. I am so hungry that I could devour a whole pizza. All right, on to the next word, which is ravenous. Say it with me. Ravenous. Ravenous. Ravenous is another very strong word, which means extremely hungry, but this word is an adjective. I'm ravenous. Where's supper? Growing boys have ravenous appetites. That's a phrase that's usually used together, ravenous appetites. Now let's take a look at the text. I want you to read along with me if you can. The water is only feet away now. I stand frozen on the beach, praying that the ocean will merely tickle my toes with its cooling surf, but it does not. A huge, roaring sea tiger devours me in one ravenous bite, lifts me off my feet, and tosses me like a rag doll towards the hotel. I can't see. I can't breathe. This is it. I am going to die. This very short text has a lot of figurative language in it. If you see the phrases that are highlighted in blue, this is what we call figurative language. The first thing that we see is I stand frozen. Tickle my toes. A huge roaring sea tiger devours me. Ravenous bite. Lifts me off my feet. Tosses me like a rag doll. Let's take a closer look at these sentences. First of all, the use of hyperbole. Hyperbole is when you exaggerate something for emphasis. I stand frozen. Well, we know you can't be frozen. You're not a block of ice. But what this means is that you're still. And why do people stand really still? Well, a lot of times they stand still because they're afraid, frozen in fear. We also see the use of simile. The writer used the simile like a rag doll. A rag doll is a doll that's simply made out of rags. I remember when I was a small child, my mom made me a rag doll. She took a lot of old rags of my old clothing and she sewed up a little doll, and I love that little doll. But you know, a rag doll is very lightweight. And so by using this simile, the writer's showing the power that was behind the wave of the tsunami, that normally I couldn't pick up a person and throw them as far as from the shore to the hotel. But this wave picked up the person like they were nothing, like they were a tiny little lightweight rag doll. We also see the use of metaphor here. The writer compares the wave to a huge roaring sea tiger. When we think of tiger, tiger is a very ravenous beast. It's very powerful. So the writer is using roaring for the sound of the sea, how loud it was. And tiger is used because he also couples this with personification. And the personification is when we give an inanimate object a human characteristics. For example, the ocean tickling my toes. Well, the ocean can't really tickle your toes, but what that means is that's a very soft feeling. And I was it said I was praying that the ocean would tickle my toes. And that's just a playful thing. When somebody tickles somebody, it's to make them laugh. So when the water goes over your toes and you get that nice feeling of coolness, that's not scary. That's what the narrator was hoping the ocean would do. But instead, it lifts me off my feet and tosses me. Okay, this is showing the power behind the wave. And so the personification here, used together with the metaphor of the tiger, which shows the fierceness of the ocean, is very powerful because between the metaphor and the personification, the writer is showing that the wave is not only enormous and powerful and deadly, but it also is very powerful and can just destroy life very easily, very quickly. We also see the use of alliteration with tickle my toes. We have the repetition of the T sound, which just makes it more of an emphasis. And of course, it ends in what we call an ellipsis. Can you say that with me? Ellipsis. Ellipses are those famous three dots that you see dot, dot, dot. When something ends in ellipsis, this means that it's like a cliffhanger in a movie. You're left to wonder what happens. The writer doesn't tell you what happens, but you have to imagine what happens. And of course, in this passage, we think it was a very sad ending because the writer says, I am going to die, dot, dot, dot. So let's do a little writing exercise now. I want to teach you about short, truncated sentences. This passage has a mixture of both short sentences and very long sentences. And just like the figurative language, our sentences help to create the tone and the mood and the atmosphere of our writing. So, to create tension, you want to use very short and what we call truncated sentences. I'll call your attention to the sentences that are very short here, but it does not. I can't see. I can't breathe. This is it. I'm going to die. All of these are very short. What is a truncated sentence? Well, I like to think of truncated sentences as the special effects in writing, like you would have in a movie. And truncated sentences are often referred to as short sentences, but there's a difference between regular short sentences and truncated ones. A truncated sentence has been shortened on purpose and leaves out or omits extra information in order to create an effect. What kind of effect? A sense of urgency, sense of danger, fear, panic. So, when writing, we shorten our communication, and this gives our sentences power. For example, help! This creates a sense of urgency, right? Whereas the longer, help me, I can't figure out my math homework. Well, this doesn't. So, when it comes to communicating, sometimes less is more. Now let's talk about the long, compound, complex sentences that we saw going on. These are our very descriptive sentences. These are the ones that you see using more the figurative language, building the images, because long sentences build suspense. Short sentences build tension. Long sentences build suspense. As you can see, I've highlighted the longer sentences in blue, and these are the sentences that really contain the imagery. So these are the ones that are building our suspense because we're giving more description and it's slowing down the pace and making it more exciting and suspenseful for the reader. So, short sentences have a punch and are a great way to emphasize important points. Longer sentences add the rhythm to your writing. By using both short and long sentences, You can add interest and drama to your writing that keeps your reader's attention. So, this isn't just for writing stories. This is anytime you're writing a report, you're writing a speech, anything that you are going to write, you want to vary your sentence length so that you can create more impactful passages. So think of the importance of sentence structure here. Short, simple sentences or truncated sentences can create tension, haste, or urgency, whereas long or compound or complex sentences are slower and can be used to build suspense or create more relaxed atmospheres. All right, are you ready to take another quiz? I have a quiz for you. If you want to create an atmosphere of boredom, what type of sentence should you use? One, short, simple sentence. Two, long, complex, or complicated sentence. Or three, fragmented or short sentences. If you chose long, complex, and complicated sentences, you are right. That will definitely slow down the pace and help to create a sense of boredom for the reader. What about if you want to create the atmosphere of fear? What types of sentences should you choose? I hope that you chose number three, the short, truncated sentences. If so, that means you've been following along with this lesson and you understand me. So that makes me happy. Well done. All right, guys and gals, I really hope you learned a lot from this lesson. I'd like to leave you with a homework assignment. So if you go to the link down in the description section, you can download a PDF about this lesson. And you will see here that the story will continue. And what I want you to do, because the punctuation has been removed, I want you to decide where you think it would be the most effective to put the punctuation into this paragraph. So try to punctuate to emphasize the narrator's thoughts and the feelings at this point. Use a mixture of long and short sentences in order to highlight the most dramatic parts of this text. So you get to decide where to put the full stops or the periods. If you're like American English, like me, I say period, and British English, they say full stop. Decide where to put the commas, decide where to put the exclamation points, and decide if you need an ellipsis. All right. So if you choose to do this homework, I will post something in our community section on YouTube for the channel, and I want you to type in your answers for me, okay? And I will check it and I will give you feedback. All right. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. And thank you so much for your patience. Stay tuned for more exciting lessons coming your way. See you soon, everybody. Be blessed.